Now we are active. Let me make sure we are good here. We are good there. Let me get my comment pinned. And actually, no, we'll just go. As y'all coming in on Facebook or IG, shout yourselves out in the comment section. Tell me where you are checking in from. I want to shout a couple people out. Then we're going to get into what we need to get into. And I got to pin my comment. This is kind of a long URL, but it's Work on Your Game University. So Work on Your Game University is easy to remember. So as long as you remember that, then just remember to put the end on it, and boom, we got what we need. So let me get that in there. All right, that comment is pinned. As y'all coming in, shout yourselves out in the comment section. Tell me where you checking in from, and we're gonna get into what we need to get into here today. This is gonna dovetail with what I talked about earlier today on my reel, which is about being outside. What we're talking about is building relationships and getting yourself known in business. I think everybody who's in here, you want to be known. You want people to know your name. You want people to know what you're about and whatever business you're doing and however you're doing it. So that's the subject here today. And for whatever reason, let me see. Make sure I'm not getting any scroll here on IG, so I don't know what's happening. But anyway, we'll give it a second. Usually it fixes itself. So as y'all coming in, shout yourselves out in the comment section. Tell me where you checking in from, and we'll get into this momentarily. And I got a call coming up in about 45 minutes. So we'll get to this, get into stuff, answer some questions if I can answer any questions, and then we will go. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete. I'm the author of 33 books. I've done 4 TED Talks. I created this whole brand called Work on Your Game. It's all about taking all the tools, the mindset and strategy tools that athletes use to get to the top 1% in sports. And I've created a system that translates these tools. This is what I did for you. I translate these tools from the sports world to the business world to help people like yourselves, professionals, help you do 3 specific things. Number 1, you want to perform at a higher level, which means you are giving more value to the people who you serve. And when you give people value, you get value. All you people talk about creating wealth. All right, wealth comes from giving people what they want. So that's number 1, doing this at a higher level. Number 2, making this consistent, what you do, doing it over and over and over again. In the sports world, we got to be consistent. You can't have a good game on Tuesday and then have a terrible game on Thursday and Friday. You got to have a good game every night if you want to, at least if you want to keep your job. So the second thing is consistency, so people know exactly what they're going to get from you over and over again. And then the third thing is, of course, you want to make more money from what you do. All right, any of you who's interested in making more money, all right, then these things that I share with you, even if they're not specifically about money, these are the means that will move you towards making more money. Anybody who goes to work every day, you do it because you make money. You do it because they're paying you. You're not doing it for free. You're not doing it for the love. You might love it, and maybe you would do some of it if money wasn't involved, but you wouldn't do all of it if money wasn't involved. So we're talking about these 3 things: performance, consistency, and making money. So if any of those of interest to you, and especially if all 3 are of interest to you, then you are in the right place and you are connected to the right person. So what we're going to talk about here today is being outside when it comes to being in business. And what this is about is, again, about building connections and leveraging relationships. All right, so this is something that I've talked about many times over the years. For those of you who are not familiar, I have a podcast called Work on Your Game. It comes out every single day. It is a solo show. I do not do reruns. I don't do encore episodes, meaning I don't take an episode from 5 years ago and play it again because I'm on vacation. I put out a brand new episode every single day. I've been doing this every day since 2016. This is just actual facts. Okay, there's no one in the space who does the same thing that I do. Nobody can do it, and nobody does do it. And I'm bringing that up to let you all know that you are not limited to just these lives to get the game from me. You should be plugged in. Most of you probably listen to podcasts, and y'all might be listening to some nonsense of people out there being funny and the shenanigans and the jokes and talking about entertainers and what album a rapper put out. But you want to get some real game in that time that you're listening, tune into the Work on Your Game. I call mine a masterclass. It's on the podcasting app, but I call it a masterclass because that's what it is. So tune into that on Apple, Spotify. You all know where to find podcasts. But anyway, on that show, I've talked about in the past how being outside is a luck strategy. Everybody here understands the concept of luck, right? Luck is something that kind of just shines on you. You can't really control it, but there are certain things you can do to align yourself with luck. And one of the things you can do to align yourself with luck is position yourself where luck can possibly happen for you. And one of the ways that you do that is to be outside. What do I mean when I say being outside? I do not necessarily mean this in a literal sense. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to go outside of your house, but I could mean it that way. When I say being outside, what I mean is you got to be where it's at. You need to know where it's at. We're going to talk about that. That's what we're going to go through here in this live right here is what does it mean to actually be outside? And then how can you actually do it? So, for example, when I was playing ball, one of the things that, especially back in the, let's say a decade or two ago, if you wanted to be known in basketball, you had to go where it was happening. Which meant you had to know where the pickup games were happening, where are the best players in whatever city you live in, where do they play? You need to find that out. Then you need to go there. Then you need to play with those guys so that you get known by the group, by the people who are making it happen in that space. You have to be there. In the business world is the exact same thing. Who are the people who are making it happen in this space? How can I get in that space so that I am known by these people? Because when you're known by the right people, here's the key point. You can get more done through connections and leveraging relationships with other people than you can ever get done through your own effort, talent, and hard work. That's the key point that I want you all to get here. I'm live on Facebook as well. My Facebook page and my Facebook group as well as on Instagram right now. So wherever y'all prefer to watch this. And that's what we're going to talk about here today is putting yourself outside. And sometimes being outside means being inside. Outside being outside of just with yourself, but inside the circle of who those people are, the movers and the shakers in your space. And you might be one of those movers and shakers, but to stay one, you still got to be in touch with what's going on. You still got to know who's doing what, who's moving over here, what's happening over here. You got to be in touch with what's happening in your space and in your industry. That's what it means to be outside. And the reason that this concept is so important is because in the world that we live in today, especially with all of our ability to be interconnected, you can basically get a whole bunch of information and you can feel like you are connecting, quote unquote, with somebody just by being on your phone. You can do this all from the comfort of your own home. Many people have been hypnotized into thinking that, okay, I can just do everything from my phone. I don't have to actually shake anybody's hand. I don't have to put pants on and get dressed. I don't have to go to any conferences. I don't have to go to any events. They paused me, poor connection again. I don't have to meet anybody. I don't have to know anybody. I don't have to build relationships. I don't have to do any of that because for some of you, that's uncomfortable, especially after like when they had the COVID shutdowns and maybe you weren't able to connect with other people, or maybe you're just the type of person who quote unquote doesn't like people. I hear people say that I don't like people. I'm not a social individual. I'm not that social butterfly type of person. I don't want to be talking to people. I don't want to have that small talk, and you're not into that kind of stuff. Let me let you know something. All right, if you want to be successful in business, you better be into it. And I'm pausing there because I want that thought to sink in. Okay. If you're not into small talk, you're not into building relationships, you're not into winning friends and influencing people, you're not into building the know, like, and trust factor with other individuals. If you're not into that stuff, you don't like that stuff, you're not that type of person, I'm here to let you know you better become that type of person. Or you got two options. You could you got three. One, you could become that type of person. Two, you need to build a partnership with someone who is that type of person so that they can work on your behalf. So if you're not the relationship, social butterfly, making friends type person, you need to give 50% of your business to somebody who is and let them go build relationships on your behalf. Or three, you can stay where you're at. And I mean that in terms of your success, in terms of your ascension, in terms of your forward movement. Those are your three options when it comes to being outside. Okay. And Win with Love, what's going on? Good afternoon to you. Who else we got in here? M.A.D. Lioness. What's M.A.? Is that Massachusetts? What's M.A.? Win with Love, what's your actual name? So I can shout you out by name. Topaz, what's going on? Good to see you again. You need to get outside. All right. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. I didn't even get into my points yet, but I'm just giving y'all just the baseline here for y'all to understand why this is so important. And do not be fooled into thinking that you can just do everything from your phone or through text messages and comments and DMs and emails and all the other stuff you can do through your phone. You need to go to where it's actually taking place. Maggie checking in from Florida. Maggie, then I have no idea why you are not on the list for being at Work on Your Game Live. You're checking in from Florida, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Let's get into, but I'm glad you're here either way. But let's get into what we're going to talk about here today, which is how to be outside in your business. Number one, here's the first step to being outside. First thing you have to ask yourself is, where is it taking place? Where is it at? That's the first question you got to ask yourself. Where is it at? When I was playing ball, so for example, I'm from Philadelphia, PA, and when I was in Philly, I moved from Philly. I live in Miami now, but in between Philly, I went to college in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It was like in the middle of the state. Then after college, I went back to Philly for a year and a half ish. Then I moved to Florida. I was in Tampa for a little bit. Now I'm in Miami. And every time I moved, when I was playing ball, because all those points I was playing ball, I don't play ball anymore, but I was still playing when I moved to Miami. Every time I moved to a new city, the first thing I ask myself is, where is it at when it comes to the ball players? So this is what I would do. I would go find where the gym was, any gym that I could find. I would play and I would meet somebody who was there. All right. The registration's already closed, Maggie. It's too late. But anyway, you can send me a DM. Maybe we might be able to fit you in. But the thing is, I would find out where the ball players were at. So let's say when I moved to, for example, when I moved to Tampa Bay, Florida, I went to a local gym. I just Googled, let me find a gym. So I go to the gym, I'm playing balls, 2 or 3 guys in there. They're usually from there. So I asked them, yo, where are the ball players at? Because they would see me play and they would see, all right, this dude looks like he can play. So I would ask them, all right, where's the best games at? Where's the best pickup? Where do the best players play at? And they would usually have some idea. They might not know the exact place because maybe they're not on the inside, right? They don't know anybody. But they would have an idea, a better idea than I had. Why? Because they're from there and I'm not. I'm brand new. So who do you know? So I would ask them, who do you know? Or where's the place to go? They would tell me go here. Then I would go to that place. I would see what's going on there. Are these the best players? Maybe, maybe not. I would talk to the people there. Or who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And I would just keep asking. Each place, I would find out who's the person, who's the next place, where's the next place. And I would just keep working my way up until I got to the place I needed to get to. And here's why this worked. And I want you got to get this point. The reason why this worked is because every time I showed up to play somewhere, they would see me play and they could see, all right, this dude actually can play. So I probably should tell him where some even better players are at or where some better games are at because this dude looks like he can hang with those guys. Even if the guy I was talking to couldn't hang, they knew I can hang. So they knew that I would be able to establish myself in that room if I moved into the next room. So this is one thing that you can do if you don't know anybody. So any of you who's in that position, you don't feel like you don't know anybody, you don't have any connections. This is the first thing you do. Find out any place that something's happening, go to that place and then ask, okay, where's another place that I should go? And somebody in that room, the first room you're going to, is going to know about the next room. And then somebody else is going to know about the next room. Then someone else is going to know about the next room. This is the way that it works. In the sales world, they call this tap rooting. Any of you know what tap rooting means? Tap rooting just means you meet one person, find out who they know, then they'll introduce you to 10 people. Then out of those 10 people, find out who they know. Each one of them knows 10 people. So now you got 100 people. And now you just keep doing that. And eventually you're going to find the right person as long as you keep doing it. As long as you keep following up, as long as you stick to your process and stick to your system. This is the way that people who aren't in sales get their next leads. This is the way that people who are, if you're trying to find a date, you're trying to find a husband or a wife, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. This is the way you can do it. If you're playing basketball, you're trying to find the right games in town. This is the way that you do it. You meet one person. Who do you know? Meet the next person. Who do you know? Meet the next person. Who do you know? And you just keep working your way up. In the business world, you can do this the same way. Let's say I moved into town and I was just doing business. Let's forget about basketball. I'm doing business. I'm moving to Miami and I'm just trying to find who are the people who are making it happen in business in Miami. And I don't know anybody. What do I do? First thing I'm going to do is go online. This is a good use of the internet. I'm going to find out where's a business conference or a business meetup or some kind of business event taking place. Or if I'm in the elevator in my building and I see somebody who looks like they might do business, I'm gonna just introduce myself, shake their hand and say, hey, I'm new in town. I don't know a lot of people around here. Where's the business taking place? Who do I need to know? Where are things happening? Now, maybe I'm lucky and this person happens to be well connected and they know exactly who I need to meet. But maybe I'm not that lucky and they don't know anybody. But they'll know something that I don't know. Why? Because maybe they've been living there longer than me. So they'll know something that I don't. So they'll say, well, I don't really know like that, but I do know that there's a big business event that happens every Wednesday. These people get together over here and I'm going to just take that lead, even if their information is kind of vague, and I'm going to go. I've got a pause connection. All right. So it's kind of like, any of you ever seen a TV show with detectives and they're trying to solve a murder, but they don't have any clues. They don't have any leads. What do? They just start walking around the area where it took place, just talking to people. Hey, who do you know? Do you know anything about this? You ever heard of this? What do you know about that? And then every lead that they get, they go chase down that lead. And sometimes it leads to a dead end. But eventually, if they keep doing it, eventually they're going to meet somebody who knows something. Somebody's going to talk and they're going to get the information. Eventually, they solve the crime. It has nothing to do with necessarily them getting lucky with the information, just a matter of them having a process for continually chasing down every piece of information that they get. This is the same thing that y'all need to be doing. This is the question you're asking yourself is, where is it taking place? Your first step is identification. Where is it happening? So eventually somebody's going to tell me, well, Dre, look, I can't get into this room, but I do know that these people have this mastermind where these guys who are really making it happen in business down here in Miami, they meet up once a month in this neighborhood. And I know this guy, I heard of him. I don't know him, but I heard of him. He makes it happen. I'm going to go look up that guy and I'm going to find out, how can I get into that space? How can I get into that room? How can I meet that person who this person just tipped me off to? And I'm going to make it my business to get in that room. That's the first step, is identification. You have to know where it's happening. And let's say I don't meet that person who can even give me that name. I'm going to go find a business meetup. I'm going to go to the meetup. There's 20 people at the meetup. All right, somebody out of that 20 knows something that I don't know. I'm going to chase down that lead. Maybe there's a conference happening in Miami. Somebody's having a business conference in Miami. It's 500 people there. I'm going to go to that conference. Somebody in there is going to say something that I didn't know. I'm going to chase that down. I'm going to go meet people at that conference. 500 people at the conference. Let's say it's a 3-day conference. I'm going to make it my business to shake 100 hands out of those 3 days at the conference and meet 100 different people. Now, again, out of that 100, maybe 80 of them can't do anything for me. I can't learn anything from them. They ain't really got nothing going on. There's nothing useful I can get out of them. But out of that, the other 20, somebody knows something. Somebody knows somebody. And I want y'all to notice something. Those of you who don't like talking to people, those of you who don't like building relationships, those of you who don't like, dealing with human beings, you don't like small talking, you don't like making friends or trying to win friends and influence people, get over it. Because if you're gonna be outside, you got to be able to do this. These are things you have to be able to do. This needs to be added to your skill set. So there are certain skills, as a side note, that no matter what you do for a living and no matter what stage you're at and no matter where you're trying to go, are always going to be useful skills. One of them is communication. This is the most valuable skill you need for a business. Any form of business, anything that involves making money, you need solid communication skills. And a sub skill of communication is your ability to make friends, your ability to build rapport with other people, get somebody to know you, like you, and trust you. And that means they'll be willing to help you out, give you a recommendation, connect you to somebody that they otherwise didn't need to connect you to. That's all based on your ability to communicate. So communication skills are extremely valuable. Unfortunately, they don't usually teach these at school. And a lot of times the people who are teaching you may not be that qualified to teach you communication skills, but you need to invest in getting really, really good at communication, because that ability will take you around the world. Your ability to communicate will take you anywhere that you want to go, as long as you know how to talk to people and you know how to build rapport. So the first step, again, identify. Okay. So one of the fallacies, one of the challenges of social media is that if you use it often enough, that you can just get, if you want to get a whole bunch of followers, it doesn't matter who they are, what they're about, you can just get a whole bunch of vanity metrics. That's what we call the numbers that you get on social media, that you can just build a business off of that. You just get a whole bunch of followers, boom, you have a business. That's not necessarily true. Depends who the people are. The who matters a lot. There's a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. If any of you has not read that book, I would suggest you go get it. Again, it's called Good to Great. The author is named Jim Collins. And in this book, one of the principles he talks about is who before what. And what he meant by that is anybody who is running a business. If you're trying to build a successful business, and all of you, whether you have a business right now or not, at some point in the future, you may have a business. You plan on having people working for you. The principle is this. You first want to get the right people in the room on your team. Then you figure out what you're going to have everybody do and what you as a group is going to do. It's not figure out what to do, then go find the people to do it. No, it's the other way around. Find the right people, get high quality people around you. Then when you got all the high quality people in the room, then y'all work together and figure out what should we do. Because the quality of the people is more important than the quality of the idea. Everybody get that? Everybody hear what I just said? Having the right people is more important than having the right program. That doesn't say that the program doesn't matter. The program matters, but you got to have the right people. So this is why, again, this is the whole concept here is about relationships. When you know the right people, you don't even have to have a great idea. The right people will figure out a great idea and they'll figure out a way to make that thing work because you got the right people around you. And even if you got a bunch of the right people around you, you can start off with an idea that's not even that good. Then you go execute on that idea and it doesn't work. And let's say it ends up failing. You and those people get together and say, all right, this idea doesn't work. Let's kill that idea. Let's come up with another one. Eventually, if you have the right people around you, eventually you will find a way to win because you got the right people around you. If you have a brilliant idea, but the wrong people, you will find a way to mess it up. The wrong people will mess up a great idea, but the right people can make a mediocre idea turn into a success. So it's people before process. People first, then you get the process in. The right people create the process, and then you can put mediocre people into a great process created by great people. You get a great outcome. Hope I didn't go over anybody's head with what I said right there. So the first question you got to ask yourself, this is point number one. Who do you want to be seen, heard, and known by? All of you should know the answer to this question. When I was playing ball and I was trying to get on playing overseas, the first question I had to ask myself, because at this point, I'm from Philadelphia, went to school in the state of Pennsylvania. I hadn't really spent that much time out of the state of PA, let alone out of the country. I'm trying to play overseas. So I know nobody overseas knows me. So I'm like, all right, how do I get somebody overseas to know my name? So the answer to the question was, let me get an agent, because what does an agent do? For those of you who don't know the sports industry, an agent works in sports the same way that they work in the literary world, like a book agent, or the acting world, like a TV or movie agent, is the exact same kind of agent. All they do is they act as the middleman between the job and the talent. I was the talent, I wanted the job, but I didn't know anybody who could offer me a job, but I could find me an agent. If I find me an agent, then the agent can be the go-between between me and the opportunity that I want. So all I did was focus on, after I went to this event called an exposure camp, and I basically had some collateral. I had some proof that I was good, some proof that I could play professional level basketball. And I said, all I'm going to do for the rest of this until I get a job is try to get me with an agent, because an agent can help me get overseas. And let me see. I'm just looking through my comments here. Maggie said, power of association. Yes, that power of association is important, and it's having the right associations. So I was looking for that agent. So this is the question. Who, here's WHO, who do you right now in your business need to be seen, heard, and known by? Somebody give me some answers. In the comment section, somebody put in the comment section, who is the person or the type of person, whether it could be an actual individual, or it can be a type of person like an agent or a contractor or a salesperson or whatever. Who is the type of person that you need to be seen, heard, and known by right now in your business? Who are you looking for? If you walk into a room right now at a conference and there's 30 people in the room, or there's 10 people in the room, or there's 3,000 people in the room, who do you need to meet? What type of person are you trying to make a connection with? Who do you want to notice you? Whose hand do you want to shake? Who do you want to spend time talking to? Now, you might be gracious enough to talk to everybody who approaches you, but who are you actually trying to meet? Like, who are the people that if you left that event, it's 3,000 people there and you met 5 people, who are the 5 types of people? Or if you want to meet 5 of the same type of person, who is that person that you want to meet right now? If you had to walk into a room right now for you moving your business forward, you want to take the next step in your business, who do you want to meet? Who is that who for you? And everybody should know this. You should know what your who is, because this will help you. Keep getting a pause connection here. This will help you be discerning about who you're talking to, where you should spend your time, your money, your attention, your energy, and your focus. And those are your 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, and focus. You need to know what you should be doing with these on a consistent basis in your business. All right, so that's the who. Point number 2. Now that you're clear on who you need to meet, the second question is, position yourself to be in the places where those people are at. So this is the strategy. You can strategically choose to be where these people are at. Now, the first thing is you got to know where they're at. All right. If you don't do step 1, you can't do step 2. Step 2 is, where are these people gathering? Where do they meet? And how do I get in there? Like I told you, time, money, attention, energy, and focus. Third one is attention. Time, money, attention, energy, and focus. Investment is the big, all of those are investments. There you go. Time, money, attention, energy, and focus. There you go. And here's the thing. This is why I told you in the first point, you have to know who you're looking for. So I said, if I move to Miami and I'm trying to meet who's doing business down here, I'm asking the question, who's doing business down here? I already know who I'm looking for. Who's doing business down here? I'm not just trying to meet anybody. I'm trying to meet the people who are making it happen in business. So you have to, once you have this question, then you have the answer. You know who you're looking for. Now, where are these people at? Where do they meet? Where do they gather? Where is it happening? And what do I need to do to get in that room? At this point, point number two, this is where you start making your investments. You make your investments at point number two, because in order for you to meet the people that you're trying to meet, especially if this is a high level situation, you're going to have to open up your wallet. You're going to have to put some time in. You're going to have to put some attention in. You're going to have to really get focused, and you got to pay attention. You got to do all these things. You might have to pay money. Now, this is where people get lost. This is where people drop off right here, is when it comes to the point of you're not going to be able to do this for free. You got to put some skin in the game, is what we call this. Are you willing to put some skin in the game in order to get the opportunity that you want? You willing to pay money to go to buy a ticket to an event just because you're trying to meet the 3 people in there who you really want to make a connection with that otherwise you wouldn't be able to connect with? If you're trying to meet somebody, let's say you're trying to meet somebody for a relationship, but just scrolling through Instagram and swiping on Tinder hasn't really worked. Are you willing to invest in? Are you willing to invest in a matchmaker? Are you willing to go to some kind of? You willing to hire a relationship coach? You willing to do those things? Because those things cost money. But those people, when you make that connection with that person, that relationship coach or that matchmaker, and by the way, making a connection with a person does not necessarily mean it has to be a free exchange. Making a connection can be you pay somebody money because they have access to what you need. All right. So it doesn't, just because there's money involved does not mean you're not building a relationship. All right. If I'm looking for ways that I got a high ticket program, I want to sell it more efficiently. And there's somebody out there who's a coach who teaches people how to do that. And I pay them money to get access to their program and their information and their strategy. That is a relationship, because as soon as I give them money, I have bought a relationship with that person, and they're going to help me achieve my outcome. So relationship does not necessarily have to be a free exchange. You can pay. If you're paying somebody money, that is still a relationship. You're trying to lose 50 pounds and you've been going to Planet Fitness and it ain't working, but you go hire a personal trainer and they can help you lose that 50 pounds. Is that a relationship? Is that valuable to you? Will that help you get your outcome? Of course it will. So point number two is where the investment happens. This is where you pull out your wallet and you actually pay money to get access to the insights, the information, the strategies that you need access to that will help you achieve an outcome much faster than you ever would achieve it on your own and on your own volition. Everybody got you? Everybody got what I'm saying here? Nori says OPM. No, this is not OPM. This is YM. Not other people's money, your money. Not other people's money. This is your money. This is money coming out of your pocket. That's why the 5 forms of investment are time, money, attention, energy, and focus. These are the 5 things that each one of you individually, must invest if you want to be successful. This is stuff that comes from you, not from other people. You pay the money. You pay the personal trainer if you want to lose weight. You pay a relationship coach if you haven't been able to find the right person by just going to bars and clubs and swiping on Tinder. You pay a business coach if you're not making the kind of money you want to make, but you're ready to start making it right now. Those are investments that we all got to make. And anyone who's successful in anything has made all 5 of these investments at anything they're good at. When I was playing ball, I made investments in it, basketball. I made investments in the trainers. I made investments in going to exposure camps. I made investments into training materials and trainers and workouts and going to training camps. I made investments into these things. You got to put your money up. All right, y'all, any of you who claims to be serious about business, you got to put your money on the line. All right, this is how it works. And you've seen the TV show Shark Tank? What are those sharks doing? Mark Cuban, Robert Herjavec, Barbara, Lori, Kevin O'Leary. No, what are they doing? Damon John, what are they doing? They're putting their money on the line. They don't know if those businesses are going to work out, but they're putting their money up. Why? Because when they put their money up, what are they making? What do they call that? An investment. They're making an investment into those businesses because they're betting that if I make an investment into this business and I put my knowledge on top of that investment, this business is going to make me more money than I put into it. I put 100,000 in, I'm going to make $1 million back. Is that a good investment? Will any of you do that? All right, that's the investment. Okay. So let me see. It need to be seen and heard by clients that will seek services from me, colleagues that can provide referrals, and individuals with a platform that supports mental health so that I can spread my message. Okay, that's excellent. Now, next thing then would be to get really specific there as to where these people gather. That's point number 2. So what you just said there, Maggie, is great. And next thing is, point number 2 is, where are these people at? That's the question that you're going to ask yourself. Where are these people gathering so that when you show up and you are spreading your message, you're talking to a targeted audience. You're talking to people who actually want what you're serving, because you don't want to just put it out and you don't know if they're even interested. Because if you're talking to a bunch of people that's not even interested in your thing might be great, But if you're talking to the wrong audience, then you're not going to get the response. And then you might start to think incorrectly that something's wrong with you or something's wrong with them, when the actual issue is you're just fishing in the wrong lake. It's kind of like, I don't know anything about fishing, but I think that in the fishing world, then you knows anything about fishing. I'm talking about actual fish, that there are certain types of bait that certain fish are more prone to go after than other fish. So if you're trying to catch trout, pause connect. Are you trying to catch trout? There's a certain bait, and if you're trying to catch, I don't know, catfish or tuna or whatever other, name any other kind of fish, you use a different type of bait. So you use different bait to get different people, and there's different types of water that have different types of fish, right? Not every lake has every kind of fish that exists in the world. So you got to know, which lake do I go to? What kind of bait am I using? And what kind of fish am I trying to catch? You got to know the answers to all three of these questions. Where do I go? What kind of bait do I use? And who am I trying to attract with this? You must have answers to these questions, folks. All of this is part of the strategic process of figuring out what you're doing in your business. Unfortunately, a lot of people these days, again, the internet has a lot of people fooled to think they could just throw their stuff out there and this stuff is just going to happen just because. It doesn't work that way. I wish it was that simple, but if it was that simple, then a lot of things in life would be different. It's not that simple. And people think it might be that simple because the internet makes it seem like, oh, if you just do this, then this is going to happen automatically. Not the case. And remember that followers do not necessarily equal dollars. Just because somebody following you doesn't mean they're going to buy anything from you. All right, how many of you follow people on Instagram but never bought anything that they sell? All right, so followers are not necessarily dollars. So this is the strategic part, and this is something that I help people do. I help people kind of break this down, deconstruct. Where are you trying to go, and how do we actually work backwards and figure out where do we need to start here? Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't even consider this stuff, and they just put that stuff out there. Nori, I appreciate you. So the second point, and we got to 1:15 here, so I got about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna get through this point, next point, and I'm gonna take questions. You got questions, put them in the comments now, and I'll start answering them. So the second thing is positioning yourself where the people who you want to be known by are at. Okay? I know a lot of professionals who attend events, they pay for tickets, travel, hotel, food, all of that, not because they're interested in the speakers. I'm going to go to a bunch of events this year, not because I necessarily need to hear what the speaker has to say. The speaker might say some great stuff, but the reason I'm going is because I'm trying to meet the people in the audience. There are certain people who I want to meet who will be in those audiences that I can build a stronger relationship faster by meeting them in person and shaking their hand, even if that means I got to travel to Dallas or Vegas or Orlando or California, than if I sent them a text message or a DM or whatever, WhatsApp, whatever that is. Meeting them in person, the relationship gets built stronger and faster because now I met them in person. They'll remember me more than if I only sent them a DM or a text. That's a strategic decision that I'm making, and I'm willing to make that investment. That's a time investment. That's an energy investment. That's a money investment. I'm making those investments to build my business. Nori says Chicago is great for business too. Well, I'm just using the cities as an example. The whole point is you got to go to where the people are at. You need to know where they're at, and then you need to set yourself up there, and you got to put your money up. Again, all you professionals in here, you want to call yourself a professional, you got to be putting money up. All right, the dictionary definition of an entrepreneur is a person who starts a business enterprise while taking on greater than normal financial risk. That's the definition of an entrepreneur. So how many entrepreneurs we got who are listening to me right now? And entrepreneurs take on greater than normal financial risk. Now, risk is a very relative term, but one of the things you do in taking on risk is that you do something like pay money to go to an event because you're trying to meet certain people, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to meet them. It's not guaranteed that meeting them is actually going to make anything happen. But that's the risk that you take to be an entrepreneur. That's the reason why some people have jobs and some people are entrepreneurs. If you want safety and you want everything to be no risk, then go get a job. If you want to be an entrepreneur, then you got to take on some risk. This is the game that you signed up for. If you're an entrepreneur, you take on risk. You do things like, I was listening to Grant Cardone the other day. He was talking about when he put something up for sale. Some people are interested in everything he's saying until he puts something up for sale and they got to pull out their credit card, and they don't want to pull out their credit card. And he says because people don't have confidence in their ability to make back the money that they just invested. So then they don't invest. And because you don't invest, then you're not able to take the next step forward. And then you end up having even less confidence and less. And you just keep going on a downward spiral. And that made a whole lot of sense. All right, you have to be discerning and strategic about where you're making investments, but you must make investments. You can't climb the ladder and ascend without making investments. So really ask yourself, in 2022, what investments did you make into your business? financial investments. And in 2023, what investments are you planning on making? And really, you should already be either have started making them, or you should be on you should be in the process right now. We almost at the end of January. So have you made your investments? What are you waiting for? I mean, are you an entrepreneur or are you not? I mean, I just gave you the definition of the word. Nori said, I'm at learning the self-employment taxes. So that means you should go and join the program with somebody who knows how to do that so that you can get to your outcomes a lot faster. Someone else who has the insights and the experience can help you get to knowing what you're doing a lot faster than you will ever get to it doing it all by yourself, regardless of how smart you are as a person. I think I'm pretty smart, but I still invest in getting information and insights from other people because it helps me get to my outcomes a lot faster than I would get there by myself. Point number 3, we are talking about how to be outside in your business. Number 3, now you got to make people remember you. All right. Because the people who you're trying to meet, guess what? You ain't the only person trying to meet them. People who you're trying to meet, you're not the only one that's trying to be met by them. So if you're a business coach and you're looking for clients, well, there are a whole bunch of people who are trying to get that same client that you're trying to get. So why should they remember you? Why should they want to work with you? Why should they return your phone call when you call them the week after the conference? You get back home, you got their number, you call them to follow up. Why should they call you back? I just got another pause connection. So I just said, this is marketing and sales. This is where the marketing and sales happen. What about you is going to make another person remember you, not forget you, and want to follow up with you and build a relationship with you moving forward? What about you makes them want to do that? If you cannot answer this question, all right, that's a 5-alarm emergency that you need to solve in your business, because what's going to make somebody remember you? If I don't remember you, then I can't buy anything from you. All right, any of you ever sold something to somebody who didn't know who you were? I don't think that's possible. I mean, they had to know who you are during the moment that they're making the purchase, right? You got to know that you exist. What makes somebody remember you? What about you is memorable? This is a question that you should ask yourself. What about me is memorable? Why would somebody remember me? Why would somebody care what I had to say? What is going to make you go to a conference, there's 5,000 people at the conference. You shake hands with 30 people. Understand, you're not the only hand that they shook at the conference. Why would they remember you a week later when you called them? And why should they answer the phone when you call? Now, they might even remember you when you call, but they're like, do I want to talk to this person? For what? What am I going to get out of this conversation? If you can't answer that question, then they're not going to answer your call. They're not going to return your call. They're not going to respond to your text. Any of you ever text somebody, you met somebody, y'all exchange numbers, then you text them later on, they just didn't reply, you never talk to them ever again? Because you didn't give them a good enough reason, a compelling enough reason to remember you and to want to keep talking to you. Something about you needs to be notable and remarkable to them, not to you, to them. So this is where you got to step out of your own shoes and ask yourself, what does this person want? And how can I position myself as someone who is capable of providing it? And it's not always what you want to give them, is what they want. Those are two different things. Nori says, I give them jewelry. What do you mean by that, Nori? You give them jewelry? You just give them away jewelry for free? You give me some jewelry for free. If it's valuable. I don't know what you mean by that. You give them jewelry. But the whole point is, you got to be notable and remarkable in some way. People have to remember that you exist. If they don't remember that you exist, they can't do anything with you. You can't do business with them. And whatever time you invested and energy you invested into meeting them in the first place completely goes to waste if they can't remember that you exist. What about you makes you memorable, noticeable, approachable? Even better if they're approaching you. That'd be even better. That you don't have to go to them. They're coming to you. That's all about the way that you're positioning yourself. This is all marketing and selling. Everything I'm talking about here is on a marketing and selling side. And I'm going to do some live talking about marketing and selling probably this upcoming week. But marketing and selling is about the way that you position yourself so that people notice you in some way and they connect the idea of you with the idea of whatever thing. So when I mention Serena Williams, what do you think of? Tennis. I mentioned Tiger Woods, you think of golf. When I mention Oprah, you probably think of a talk show. So what is it about you that people connect? What is it about you that people connect to the idea of you? They think of you, they think of what? Or when they think of that thing, what makes that thing remind them of you? Again, this is something that you should strategically consider. And if you don't have a good answer, most people don't, then get with somebody who can help you come up with a good answer. All right, this is worth the investment. All right. So when someone struck up a conversation with you, why would they want to do so? All right, if you went to an event right now and there's 1,000 people there and you just stood out in the lobby and a bunch of people are walking by, why would anybody stop and talk to you? What about you would make somebody want to stop and talk to you? If you can't answer the question, you need to figure it out. What is it about you to draw people's attention? How approachable are you? How good are you in your communication skills? Do you notice the people who are noticing you? Do you make yourself available to be approached? All of these things you should have answers to in any kind of industry. I don't necessarily mean you're in a room with a bunch of people in it, but just in your business period. What is it about? What is it about you and your bio? You're on Instagram. Instagram, Facebook, your bio on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or TikTok. What is it in your bio that will make the right type of person who you want to do business with notice you and send you a DM or strike up a conversation with you? Do you have anything in there that makes your ideal client, the person you're trying to sell to right now today, want to stop and talk to you? Do you make them some type of offer to where they can start dealing with you right now, that you are talking specifically to your ideal client, or are you just saying random stuff? Nori says sometimes the jewelry is free because I'm selling jewelry. So Nori, are you selling jewelry or are you giving it away for free? Which one are you doing? If you're selling jewelry, sell the jewelry. Don't give it away for free. Because if you give it to me for free, then I'm not going to buy it. All right, so anybody got questions, put it in the comment section. I got 3 minutes here and I got a call that's coming up in a couple minutes. We are talking about being outside in business. I'll talk about this a little bit more in the future, but the topic is really about getting yourself seen, heard, and known in anything that you're doing. Being outside is about being where it's at. Number one, identify. First step is identify. Who do you need to be known by? Number two, positioning yourself. Where are these people at so that you can be seen? And number three, be notable. What makes other people remember you? Nori said, I'm confused. Nori, that's not a good thing to be confused. You're talking about your business. You said you give away jewelry for free, but then you say you sell jewelry. So which one is it? Are you giving it away for free or are you selling it? If I'm selling something, I ain't giving it away for free. You got to pay. I mean, I'll show you the jewelry, but then you got to buy it. You got to pay for the jewelry. I never seen anybody give away jewelry for free and then sell it. That's a new thing. I haven't heard of that before. But hey, maybe you got a new business model that is going to revolutionize the industry. I don't know. But if anybody got a question, put it in the comment section. We got literally 2 minutes here. We are talking about being outside in business. If you want to be seen, heard, and known, you need to have a strategy for doing this stuff, folks. All right. There has to be a strategy for all this stuff has to be a strategy for all the things that you're doing. Understand that the most successful businesses operate by process and strategy, not by just talent and hard work or just effort. It's not just effort and energy. It's about strategy and process. And many people think they're being strategic when they're actually not. And the problem is it puts a ceiling on how high you can go and how far you can ascend in what you're doing if you don't have a strategy or process for doing it, because then it can't be consistent. I told you the 3 things that help people do. Number one is the performance. Most people think they're good at their performance. Some people are, some people are not. Second one is, in order to be consistent, you have to have a process. If you do not have a process that you can't lay out and explain, then you can't be consistent. That's impossible. And then the third one is to make more money. You want to make more money, you got to have a process. You see how these work? They work off of each other. It's like climbing the stairs. The performance, consistency of the performance was the process, and then you make the money that's the thing that comes out the bottom of the funnel. All right, everybody get it? Performance, consistency, and the result. The result is the money. Okay, everybody? So anybody got a question about anything that you did not ask here or I didn't address, send me a DM or you can send me a text. I'll put my text number in here. I've been having some issues with my text the last couple of days, but so if you don't get a response from me, as soon as I get it fixed, which I will get fixed in this upcoming week, I will get to everybody's text and all that stuff. But if you don't get a response, text, just hit me in the DM right there. That is 305-384-6894. That's from where I send my daily motivation text every single day. So just make sure y'all text me there so you're getting that every day. I sent one out this morning, so if you missed that one, text me, you'll get the next one. And as soon as all right, my call just came in. So all right, I gotta go, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles will win today. I'm from Philadelphia. We will win today, beating San Francisco. Eagles going to the Super Bowl. All y'all have a great Sunday. Work on your game.